Let's go in Magnolia Square Market and go some shopping. I want to give you a little tour of the store. I'm having Ausschnitt for breakfast, and it's one of the most traditional German meals, and so I'm going to go shopping for that. Hello, welcome to Hollerbach's Home Kitchen. I'm really glad that you followed me from the deli all the way to my house. Today, I'm going to talk about why I wanted to make this video. I was at my mother's house, and she never has any bread. And then I know she loves brooches, and I asked her, why don't you get brooches from the deli? And she said, because they go hard as a rock in 2 days. And I said, well, Mom, that's because they have no preservatives. They're baked fresh every day. You can get them every day. And she says, well, I can't go to the deli every day. So I said, well, why don't you get them par-baked? So we started offering our brooches par-baked. And for those who don't know what par-baked is, it means half-baked. That's what I like to call it, the half-baked brooches. They're the ones where you get them in the freezer and they're partially baked, so they've already blended, proofed, and ready to cook. And it only takes 10 minutes in the oven at 400 degrees, and you've got fresh bread anytime you want it. They're easy to find in the deli, in the freezer case, but you can, if you don't see them, ask anyone in the deli and they can help you. There's also some options you can do. Like I brought brooches home and didn't use them. I changed the meal plan, or I had something else. And again, they are hard as a rock in 2 days. You can cut them in rounds and toast them and put our garlic butter that we sell in the market and maybe some Mediterranean Gouda cheese on them, and they make excellent tostinis or just crackers for a unique product or anything that you'd like to put on them. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Also, I have a big dinner party coming up, so when I went to the deli, I had them slice a whole loaf of French bread into little rounds so that I could have an abundance of them. It makes it so nice because they're all cut nice and even instead of my jagged mess that I make when I cut things up. So the first thing you have to do to cook a broochen is to put them in the oven. Well, you gotta heat the oven up first. So what you do, if you have a convection oven, that is the best with the airflow, and it's at 400 degrees. And they go in there for 400 degrees between 10 and 12 minutes. And I say that because every oven is different. I also used to cook them in the toaster oven before I got this one, and it was a little bit longer in a toaster oven. It was around 12 to 13 minutes, and they came out just as nice. Because usually it's just Theo and I, so I usually only have to cook for 2 people. And you can store them in the freezer. And we're going to cook fresh brooches. Oh, time's up. There you go. Look at that. You saw them before I put them in the oven. They're all pasty looking, and now they're just right. I'm going to set these aside for right now, and I'm going to start working on our platter. Now, today I'm going to make the meats and cheeses look very attractive. A lot of times when Theo and I do this, we just take the deli paper and we spread it out on the table, pile everything in there and have at it. But sometimes it's nice to spend a little extra time and effort to make something really look beautiful, because you eat with your eyes before you eat with the rest of your senses. So the first thing I've got here is Leberkäse. And people always say, don't know how it got that name, but because it's not liver and it's not cheese. Sometimes it's called German bologna, but, or meatloaf, sorry, German meatloaf. But we can't call that and use that name in America because Americans know meatloaf in a totally different way. Black Forest ham. I like to put this one sort of in a foldy kind of way to make it easier to pick up because it's so thin, and you definitely want it sliced paper thin that you can see through it because it has such a wonderful texture. But if it's too thick, it's going to be hard to eat and you won't get the full flavor of it. Now, trying to decide how much meat you need for 2 people is kind of hard. But in the deli, they're very, very flexible. You can say I want a 1/4 pound, you can figure like a 1/4 pound of meat per person, or you can tell them I want 5 slices of something. I did that on one of them because I didn't have any idea how many pounds would be enough, and I just wanted 4 slices. And they have no problem doing that. And then salami, this is Theo's favorite. And I like to take the salami and sort of curl it up into a rose like that and just pinch it. Just makes it look attractive. And sometimes they won't stay that way, so I like to take another meat and put it behind it and keep them in their place. Oh, this is my favorite. This is Krakower, and I call it, in my Americanness, ham bologna, because it's like bologna with big chunks of ham inside, or little chunks. And I love this. This is one of my favorites. So I'm going to stack that right behind that salami there to help it keep its place. All right, what do we got next? This is Schweinebauch. This is the one I had no idea how much in weight-wise that I should buy. So this is the one I got by the slice. Oh my gosh, it's a shame you can't smell this. This smells like a smokehouse. This is it's so good. So I was just planning on 1 slice per person on this meat. This is Hessian. I gotta have Theo tell you what this one is. I can't say it, but it's another type of ham. And I like this one because to me it is less salty than most hams, and it has a wonderful velvety texture, but it's more like a ham that Americans would be familiar with. Hessian ham. Or in the deli, you can say that ham that Linda likes. Or you can say that salami that Theo likes. That works too. Okay, I think that we're going to just need a couple more slices of this because, you know, it is my favorite. Now I'm going to put my cheese out. And this is the cheese. This is the famous cheese in the golden wrapper that Omi ran across the bridge for. And it's just a very nice, soft, spreadable cheese made with cream. It comes in different varieties. There are some that have herbs in them and flavors. There's some with mushroom. There's ones with just little Schnittlauch, which is just little snip pieces of herbs, and you'll see the green flakes in that one. Oh, that's the stinky one. It's so funny, when we were in the deli lab, somebody ordered the Tilsiter cheese, and when you cut it fresh off the block, it is very, very strong. They say Limburger is the stinkiest cheese, and I say no, that one is. All right, Tilsiter. Whew. And the other thing that I like to have with breakfast is Vitassure. It's an apple cider beverage. Good for weight loss, good for all kinds of things. The other issue about fermented things is that if you're following a lot of health advice for healthy eating and digestive health, they say that you should eat something fermented with every meal that you eat. And I said, why? It doesn't make sense to me. But doing research about it, I found out that it helps things that are kind of sticky in your gut, like bread. Gluten is probably the stickiest. Wheat gluten is probably the stickiest. So if you eat something fermented with a gluten item, and I figured this must be why for ages people have served pickles with sandwiches, because it helps the gluten be slip through your intestines and your digestive system better, so it doesn't get clogged up. So always have some sauerkraut, some red cabbage, or some pickles. Or olives, that works too. I like to make pickle fans, just because they look cool. You just cut it, little slices, but don't cut all the way to the end. And then just kind of squish it. This makes it a little more interesting.